Hi guys, Devil into XYZ. This is kind of a first for me as I never really review movies, but I guess I can give it my first shot. Today I went to see the new Resident Evil movie, and it's kind of the same as the other movies. I mean, there are some things they did improve, and then there are some things that just seem to have been kept the same all the way through. And without, I mean, the movie itself was it was decent, but still not great. Right, I'm gonna give a little bit of a summary as best I could. So it's kind of a spoiler alert right here. If you haven't seen the movie, I suggest just skipping this part, well, unless you just really don't care. But anyway, the movie starts off exactly where Afterlife ended. You have the entire team on the ship, and you see Alice kind of face off against soldiers from Umbrella, as well as Jill. And I guess in the middle of that, kind of Alice kind of explains the events of the last four movies. I guess just in case we missed all of them. But really, I don't really think you need to even see any of the other movies. I mean, this plot kind of seems different on its own anyway. Anyway, after that entire firefight, it jumps into I guess an alternate reality dream sequence or something like that. You see Alice as like a housewife, and you see Carlos as the husband, and then they had their deaf daughter named Becky. I mean, I guess they were enjoying like a typical day, like nothing has ever happened. I mean, it was just like a normal life kind of at first. Then all of a sudden, you see a bunch of zombies getting attacking the people in the suburbia. Pretty much in the end, after Alice and Becky tried to avoid the zombies, unfortunately, only Becky manages to survive by hiding, while Alice tries to fight them off, I guess. And then it kind of jumps back into reality, I guess, as you see the real Alice waking up, and she finds herself inside the Umbrella headquarters. She's being interrogated by Jill, and then eventually she does escape by a power failure somehow, and she manages to, I guess, find her way outside the headquarters, I guess. But she knows that she kind of lands herself into a city in Japan. Pretty much it's kind of like the start of the virus, I guess, as you see one infected woman starts infecting the other people, and then eventually kind of goes to this other giant this new giant fight between Alice and a bunch of zombies. Then afterwards, eventually, Alice meets up with Ada, who apparently Ada was saying to Alice that she and Wesker no longer work for Umbrella. That apparently Wesker in this movie, he really needs Alice. Like he's really trying to help Alice escape from Umbrella, because he needs her skills, I guess, and her powers, because he wants to try to save the rest of humanity as much as they could. And then Ada does tell Alice that the Umbrella headquarters is like under the sea, like way below sea level, like below the ice, and that the city that she was just in was nothing more than a simulation. Apparently, Umbrella created a bunch of cities based off of other countries to simulate the effects of the virus and how it spreads. Yeah, and then afterwards, Ada does inform Alice that she also has an extraction team on their way, trying to help Alice break out as well. Which some of the members include Leon, Barry Burton, and Luther West from the last movie. So pretty much, Alice and Ada encounter more beings as well. Uh, and eventually, you find out that the Umbrella, the members from Umbrella, are actually taking orders from the Red Queen from the first movie, that supercomputer. So I guess kind of proves that Wesker really is not involved in Umbrella anymore. But anyway, Ada and Alice managed to get to the that same suburban area from the dream, I guess. They do manage to find Becky, and like shortly after they found her, members of Umbrella try to stop him into another gunfight again. But the weird thing is, the soldiers are actually clones of Alice's old friends from previous movies. So I think that was kind of an interesting twist. Um, Ada kind of holds off the members, and Alice and Becky manage to escape. They do eventually find the extraction team, and I guess afterwards they're just really trying to escape out of the building because the extraction team, before they went in, they set off explosive charges to try to blow up the headquarters. Anyway, they do manage to get to the elevator, the lift. Yeah, they manage to get to the lift, and then they kind of engage into like another firefight. Yeah, and then they show that the umbrella members captured Ada, and I guess also at the same time a liquor kidnaps Becky, and then Alice goes into this side tracks to try to save Becky. And then pretty much in the end, though, they do manage to escape, but unfortunately, like, most of the members of the extraction team do get killed. Like, the only ones left at a point were Leon and Luther. I mean, and then you do see him like driving off on a snowmobile, like they're just like driving off, I guess, and then all of a sudden a sub emerges from Umbrella to try to like intervene with them. And apparently, Jill and and a clone of Rain emerge, and they show that they still have Ada in their custody. And so basically, it kind of goes into another fight with Alice facing off with Jill, and Luther and Leon facing off against Rain, who apparently Rain injected herself with a plaga. Which I think that kind of a little bit sidetracks a little bit. I mean, we're talking about the T virus and it goes off into a plaga, but anyway. Afterwards, Alice does manage to rescue Jill by removing that controlling device on her chest, and unfortunately Luther dies, but they did defeat Leon and Alice, and I guess Jill eventually they did defeat Rain. And I guess afterwards it kind of jumps into like a helicopter scene, them flying into Washington D.C., and then and then they're in the White House, and then Alice confronts Wesker sitting in the Oval Office. Apparently Wesker injects Alice with with the T virus again to give her back her supernatural powers. And then pretty much Wesker goes on to this little dialogue saying that he needs her help and to try to save the rest of humanity. And then they see the last scene where it just spans the entire Washington D.C. I guess it shows the whole place is just run by zombies, and the whole place is just corroded, and I guess that's where it just leads off into another cliffhanger going into a next movie, I guess. Alright, I guess I'll just give my opinions about this movie. I guess the first thing I can say is about the plot. I mean, at least I actually had a plot this time, as opposed to Afterlife, where it just felt completely random in that movie. Like, I had no idea what was even going on. And the plot in here, I mean, it was simple, but at least it was understandable. But still, it was kind of already been done. It just felt more like a repeat of the first movie. I guess the fighting was a little bit better. At least it had more fighting scenes as opposed to Afterlife, where I mean it had like no memorable fighting moments in that movie. Here, at least it had some better fighting scenes, and also I guess more 3D worthy scenes as well. I mean, getting your money's worth for 3D. I guess also seeing some of the old characters from the previous movies in a way. I think that was kind of fun too. Kind of almost like tying it back to the past in a way. And I guess I kind of like a little bit of the environments as well. I mean, even though they weren't technically real, I just thought it was kind of better than just having a simple city or just some kind of base or something like that. I guess some of the negatives though. I still think the overall boss fights, I guess, that they're still a bit disappointing. I mean, you do see some of the enemies from the previous movies, but I mean, they're supposed to be like they're supposed to be the big badass creatures. I mean, I don't know. Or some cons I guess I can say about this movie. Well, I guess first of all, the name Resident Evil Retribution. I mean, Retribution. It's kind of been done. It's been like the most overly used subtitle for like any movie, along with like maybe Resurrection or Redemption. Yeah, but anyway, I guess also maybe the plot could have been better. I mean, I'm grateful they actually had a plot, but I mean, it was kind of the same like the first movie. It was almost like a repeat. Uh, I guess this was a little bit nitpicky, but maybe the weapons could have had a better variety. I mean, if this is supposed to be a game based off like whole variety of arsenal weapons, don't you think they should add more than what they had in this movie? And I guess also the actors who portrayed some of the characters. Some were pretty good, but I guess there are a couple of them that kind of feel questionable. I mean, I guess mainly Leon for the fact. I mean, if you actually see him, I think you probably get one going here. And I guess maybe also the transfer going from one area to another area. When it came to the simulation, I mean, they had like a whole variety of cities, and yet they only seem to be in that certain. They only seem to be in one spot for like maybe 2 or 3 minutes before moving on to the next. And like you barely get to see any of the headquarters at all. Uh, and I guess the weird thing for me is probably Wesker's attitude. I mean, in Afterlife, he pretty much wanted to kill Alice, and yet now all of a sudden he really wants to be her friend, which really kind of throws me off track. And I guess also the fact that he tries to act like a president, that was kind of a bit weird too. I mean, it just didn't feel like Wesker. And of course, they kind of ended always in a cliffhanger, kind of showing off what the city looks like, kind of almost making it feel like they are going to conclude the next movie. I mean, that's how I always feel. Like the next movie, they're going to end it, but it ends up being just another setup for another movie. I mean, it's been 5 movies so far, and it obviously going to probably have to make a sixth one. I mean, how much more can it really expand on this series? Well, I guess after all this, I would say this movie is just decent. I mean, if I was going to give it a score, maybe out of 10, I would probably give it like a 6. I mean, there's some things they could have improved on, but then again, it's a Resident Evil movie. I mean, they always need some improvement. Um, so if you're really a big Resident Evil fan, I guess you should really go see this movie. But I think you'd be better off just playing the games, especially just waiting for the new Resident Evil 6 to come out. I'm pretty sure that would be a lot better than this movie. Double Hunter XYZ, and until next time.